Atomic Habits, a groundbreaking guide to mastering the small changes that lead to remarkable results. Imagine unlocking the potential within you by making tiny, seemingly insignificant adjustments to your daily routines. These are the very changes that, compounded over time, can revolutionize your life. James Clear, an expert on habit formation, brings you a masterpiece that isn't just about forming good habits and breaking bad ones. It's about understanding the very essence of human behavior and harnessing it to achieve greatness. In a world where we're often bombarded with quick fixes and instant gratification, Atomic Habits offers a refreshing perspective. Clear delves into the science of habits, explaining how they are formed and why they can be so difficult to change. He reveals the hidden forces that shape our behavior, often without us even realizing it. Through engaging storytelling and relatable examples, you'll discover how habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just as money multiplies through compound interest, the effects of your habits multiply as you repeat them. They seem to make little difference on any given day, yet the impact they deliver over months and years can be enormous. Clear's approach is methodical and practical, breaking down complex psychological concepts into actionable steps. You'll learn about the 4 laws of behavior change, a simple yet powerful framework that can help you build better habits in any area of your life. These laws: make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying, serve as a blueprint for creating a system where good habits flourish and bad habits wither away. One of the most compelling aspects of Atomic Habits is its focus on identity. Clear emphasizes that the ultimate form of intrinsic motivation is when a habit becomes part of your identity. Rather than focusing solely on the outcomes you want to achieve, he encourages you to focus on the type of person you wish to become. This shift in mindset transforms habits from mere tasks to integral parts of who you are. When your habits align with your identity, they become self-sustaining and far more resilient to disruption. Throughout this book, you will encounter inspiring stories of real people who have transformed their lives through the power of Atomic Habits. From Olympic gold medalists to successful entrepreneurs, these stories provide tangible proof of how small changes can lead to extraordinary outcomes. You'll also find yourself reflecting on your own experiences and how your habits have shaped your life. By the end of this journey, you'll be equipped with the knowledge and tools to reshape your habits, and ultimately, your destiny. James Clear's writing is not only insightful but also deeply relatable. He understands the challenges we all face in trying to change our behaviors and provides compassionate guidance to help you navigate these obstacles. His pragmatic approach is devoid of jargon and full of practical advice that you can start implementing immediately. Whether you're looking to improve your health, your career, your relationships, or any other aspect of your life, the principles in Atomic Habits will help you get there. As you embark on this journey, remember that the power of Atomic Habits lies in their simplicity and consistency. It's not about making radical changes overnight, but about making small, sustainable changes that, over time, lead to profound transformation. Each chapter of this book is designed to build upon the last, creating a comprehensive guide that will help you develop habits that last a lifetime. So get ready to explore the world of Atomic Habits. Prepare to uncover the science behind habit formation, discover the power of tiny changes, and unlock your full potential. This book is more than just a collection of tips and tricks. It's a roadmap to a better you. Let the journey begin. The power of small incremental changes. The power of small, incremental changes often goes unnoticed in our daily lives. Yet it holds the potential to transform our futures in profound ways. This concept was brilliantly demonstrated by the remarkable turnaround of British cycling, a story that serves as a compelling testament to the effectiveness of marginal gains. In 2003, British cycling was languishing in mediocrity. For nearly a century, British riders had achieved little of note on the international stage, with just a single gold medal at the Olympic Games since 1908 and a complete absence of victories in the prestigious Tour de France. The situation was so dire that some European bike manufacturers refused to sell their products to the British team, fearing that association with such underperformers would harm their brand. Enter Dave Brailsford, the newly appointed performance director who would change the course of British cycling history. Brailsford's approach was revolutionary in its simplicity. He focused on making tiny 1% improvements across all aspects of cycling performance. This strategy, which he termed the aggregation of marginal gains, was based on the belief that the cumulative effect of numerous small enhancements would lead to significant overall improvement. Brailsford and his team left no stone unturned in their quest for these marginal gains. They made obvious tweaks, such as redesigning bike seats for improved comfort and applying alcohol to tires for better grip. But they also delved into less apparent areas. They introduced electrically heated overshorts to maintain optimal muscle temperature, utilized biofeedback sensors to fine-tune workout responses, and even tested various fabrics in wind tunnels to create more aerodynamic racing suits. The team's commitment to this philosophy extended far beyond the bicycle. They brought in a surgeon to teach riders the most effective hand-washing techniques to reduce the risk of illness. They meticulously selected the best pillows and mattresses for each rider to ensure quality sleep. In a particularly striking example of their attention to detail, they painted the interior of the team truck white to more easily spot dust that could potentially impact the performance of their precisely calibrated bikes. The results of this approach were nothing short of astounding. Within just 5 years, British cycling dominated the 2008 Beijing Olympics, securing an impressive 60% of the available gold medals in cycling events. They continued this success at the 2012 London Olympics, breaking multiple world and Olympic records. Perhaps most impressively, British riders went on to win 5 Tour de France titles in 6 years, a feat that would have seemed impossible just a decade earlier. This remarkable transformation serves as a powerful illustration of a broader principle: the compound effect of small habits over time. It's a concept that challenges our natural inclination to seek out dramatic overnight changes. We often fall into the trap of believing that significant results require equally significant actions. We dream of losing substantial weight, launching successful businesses, or achieving other lofty goals, and we imagine that these outcomes must be the result of singular, heroic efforts. However, the reality is far more nuanced and in many ways more accessible. The British cycling story shows us that sustained incremental progress can yield extraordinary results. When we consistently improve by just 1% each day, the compounded effect over a year is a 37-fold improvement. Conversely, if we allow ourselves to decline by 1% daily, we risk reducing our performance to near zero over the same period. This mathematical reality underscores the immense power of habits, both positive and negative. Good habits, like compound interest in finance, accumulate value over time. A single workout might not transform your physique, but a year of consistent exercise can reshape your body and health. Similarly, reading a few pages each day might not make you an expert overnight, but maintaining this habit for years can lead to profound knowledge and wisdom. The challenge lies in our perception of progress. Small improvements often feel insignificant in the moment. It's easy to discount the value of saving a little money, exercising for a short time, or studying a language for just an hour. The results aren't immediately apparent, which can lead to discouragement and a return to old, less productive habits. Equally insidious is the ease with which we can slip into negative habits. A single unhealthy meal doesn't cause immediate weight gain. Neglecting your relationships for one day doesn't instantly destroy them. Procrastinating on a project once doesn't immediately derail your career. But when these small negative choices compound over time, they can lead to significant problems. This principle applies across all areas of life. In personal development, consistently reading for 30 minutes a day can lead to dozens of books completed over a year, expanding your knowledge and perspective. Though in fitness, adding just one more rep or a minute more to your workout each session can result in substantial strength and endurance gains over time. In relationships, small daily acts of kindness and attention can strengthen bonds in ways that grand gestures cannot. The power of incremental change is particularly relevant in today's fast-paced world, where instant gratification is often prioritized over long-term growth. It's a reminder that true, lasting change rarely happens overnight. Instead, it's the result of consistent small actions repeated over time. Moreover, this approach to improvement is inherently more sustainable than attempting drastic changes. Radical lifestyle overhauls often lead to burnout or disappointment when immediate results aren't seen. In contrast, focusing on small, Manageable changes allows for gradual adaptation and increases the likelihood of long-term success. The concept of marginal gains also encourages a more holistic approach to improvement. Just as the British cycling team looked beyond obvious areas for enhancement, we too can find opportunities for growth in unexpected places. This might mean improving our sleep habits, refining our decision-making processes, or enhancing our learning techniques. It's important to note that while the focus is on small improvements, the mindset behind this approach is anything but small. It requires a commitment to continuous improvement, a willingness to experiment and adapt, and the patience to trust in a process that may not yield immediate visible results. The story of British cycling's transformation is more than just a tale of sporting success. It's a powerful metaphor for personal and professional growth. It challenges us to reconsider our approach to change and improvement. Rather than always seeking monumental leaps forward, we can focus on consistent small steps in the right direction. This doesn't mean we should abandon ambitious goals or stop dreaming big. Instead, it suggests a more practical path to achieving those aspirations. By breaking down our larger objectives into smaller daily habits, we make progress more manageable and sustainable. In essence, the philosophy of marginal gains reminds us that excellence is not an act, but a habit. It's not about perfection in any single moment, but about consistent improvement over time. It teaches us to value the process as much as the outcome and to find satisfaction in the small victories that pave the way to larger achievements. As we navigate our own journeys of personal and professional development, we would do well to remember the lesson of the British cycling team. Their success wasn't born from a single revolutionary change, but from a relentless commitment to small, continuous improvements. By adopting a similar mindset in our own lives, we too can harness the surprising power of atomic habits and marginal gains, transforming our potential into reality, one small step at a time. The journey of personal growth and achievement. The journey of personal growth and achievement is often misunderstood. We tend to focus on immediate results, expecting our efforts to yield instant, visible changes. However, the reality of progress is far more nuanced and complex. It's not about where you stand at this moment, but rather the direction in which you're heading. Your current situation, whether favorable or challenging, is less significant than the habits and behaviors shaping your future trajectory. Consider this: a millionaire who consistently overspends is on a path to financial ruin, regardless of their current wealth. Their habits are setting them up for future hardship. Conversely, an individual struggling financially who manages to save even a small amount regularly is laying the groundwork for future prosperity. It's the habit, not the immediate outcome, that truly matters. This principle extends far beyond finance. Our lives are shaped by the cumulative effect of our daily choices and actions. Your current weight isn't just a number on a scale. It's a reflection of your eating and exercise habits over time. Your knowledge base isn't static. It's constantly evolving based on your learning habits. Even the state of your living space is a direct result of your cleaning and organizing habits. Understanding this concept is crucial because it highlights the power of small, consistent actions. Every choice you make is like a vote for the person you wish to become. Are you consistently choosing actions that align with your goals and values? Are you making decisions that will compound positively over time? These are the questions that truly matter when considering your long-term success and fulfillment. The compounding nature of habits works both ways. Positive habits can create an upward spiral of growth and improvement, and negative habits can lead to a downward spiral of decline. This is why it's so important to be mindful of the habits we cultivate. Let's explore some examples of positive compounding. 1. Productivity compounds in fascinating ways. Imagine completing one extra task each day. It might not seem significant in the moment, but over the course of a year, that's 365 additional accomplishments. Over a decade, it's 3,650. The impact becomes even more profound when you consider that each completed task often opens up new opportunities or frees up mental space for more complex endeavors. 2. Knowledge is another area where compounding yields remarkable results. Reading one book might provide some interesting insights, but a lifetime habit of reading can transform your entire worldview. Each new piece of information doesn't just add to your knowledge base. It interacts with existing knowledge, creating new connections and deeper understanding. This is why lifelong learners often display a kind of intellectual compounding, where their rate of learning and insight generation accelerates over time. 3. Relationships too compound in powerful ways. Every positive interaction, every act of kindness or support, contributes to the strength of your social network. Over time, this can create a virtuous cycle where the more you help others, the more willing others are to help you. This network effect can lead to opportunities and support that far exceed the sum of individual interactions. However, it's equally important to recognize the danger of negative compounding. The stress can accumulate in insidious ways. A single stressful day is manageable for most people, but when stress becomes chronic, occurring day after day, week after week, it can have severe impacts on both mental and physical health. The effects compound over time, potentially leading to burnout, depression, or serious health issues. And negative thoughts are another area where compounding can be particularly harmful. If you consistently think of yourself as incapable or unworthy, you're likely to interpret events in ways that reinforce these beliefs. This can create a self-fulfilling prophecy where your negative expectations actually shape your reality. The same principle applies to how you view others. If you habitually see people as untrustworthy or hostile, you're more likely to notice and remember instances that confirm this view, further reinforcing your negative perspective. Even societal issues can compound. Major social movements or upheavals rarely spring from a single event. Instead, they're often the result of numerous small grievances and injustices that accumulate over time. When a tipping point is reached, the built-up tension can explode into significant social change. Understanding the compounding nature of habits and choices is crucial, but it's equally important to recognize that progress is rarely linear. This is where many people stumble in their pursuit of personal growth or achievement. They expect to see immediate, consistent results from their efforts, and when this doesn't happen, they become discouraged and may give up. The reality of progress is often more like the melting of an ice cube. Imagine a room at 25 degrees Fahrenheit with an ice cube sitting on a table. As the room slowly warms, nothing visibly changes with the ice cube at 26 degrees, 27 degrees, 28 degrees, and so on. The ice remains solid. It's not until the temperature reaches 32 degrees that a dramatic change occurs. The ice begins to melt. This sudden change wasn't caused by the final degree of temperature increase alone does not determine the melting of an ice cube. It is the accumulation of all the previous increases. This analogy perfectly illustrates how progress often works in real life. You might be working consistently toward a goal, exercising regularly, learning a new skill, or building a business, without seeing any noticeable results for a long time. This period of apparent stagnation is what we might call the valley of disappointment. It's the phase where your efforts seem to make no difference, and it's where many people lose motivation and give up. But just like the ice cube, all that work isn't wasted. It's building up potential energy, creating the conditions necessary for a breakthrough. When that breakthrough finally comes, it might seem sudden or unexpected to outside observers. They might call it an overnight success, not realizing the months or years of consistent effort that led to this point. The hidden growth phase. This pattern shows up in numerous areas of life and nature. Consider the growth of bamboo. For the first 5 years after planting, bamboo shows very little visible growth. But during this time, it's developing an extensive root system underground. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, it can shoot up 90 feet in just 6 weeks. Without understanding the process, one might think the bamboo grew 90 feet in 6 weeks, when in reality it was growing for 5 years and 6 weeks. The same principle applies to many forms of personal and professional growth. Learning a new language, for instance, often involves a long period where you feel like you're not making progress. You're learning vocabulary and grammar rules, but you still can't converse fluently. Then, at some point, things start to click. You begin to think in the new language, and your progress seems to accelerate rapidly. But this sudden improvement is built on the foundation of all your previous study and practice. The importance of persistence. Recognizing this pattern is crucial for maintaining motivation and perseverance in the face of apparent lack of progress. It's easy to get discouraged when you don't see immediate results from your efforts. But understanding that you're building potential energy, that your work is accumulating even if the results aren't yet visible, can help you push through the valley of disappointment. This concept is beautifully illustrated by a quote often attributed to Jacob Riis, embraced by successful individuals and teams across various fields. When nothing seems to help, I go and look at a stonecutter hammering away at his rock, perhaps 100 times without as much as a crack showing in it. Yet at the 101st blow it will split in two, and I know it was not that last blow that did it, but all that had gone before. This perspective shift can be transformative. Instead of focusing solely on immediate results, you learn to trust in the process. You understand that the work you're doing today, even if it doesn't seem to be yielding results, is setting the stage for future breakthroughs. It's like planting seeds. You don't see the plant the day after you put the seed in the ground, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening. Practical applications. Moreover, this understanding can help you approach your goals with more patience and consistency. If you know that progress often involves a plateau before a breakthrough, you're less likely to get discouraged during that plateau phase. You can remind yourself that this is a normal part of the process, not a sign of failure. It's also worth noting that this principle applies not just to individual efforts but to larger-scale changes as well. Societal shifts, scientific breakthroughs, and technological innovations often follow this pattern. Years or decades of work and small advancements suddenly culminate in a major leap forward that seems to come out of nowhere. How to approach growth. In light of this, how should we approach our personal and professional development? 1. Shift focus from immediate results to consistent habits. Rather than obsessing over day-to-day changes, ask yourself if your current habits are moving you in the right direction. Are you consistently taking actions that will compound positively over time? 2. Cultivate patience and persistence. Understanding that significant change often requires a long period of seemingly fruitless effort can help you stay the course when you're tempted to give up. 3. Pay attention to the small things. Given the compounding nature of habits, even tiny improvements or deteriorations can have significant long-term impact. Celebrate small victories and be vigilant about small negative habits that compound into larger problems. 4. Be mindful of compounding in all areas of life. It's not just about finance or physical fitness. Your mental habits, relationships, knowledge, and skills all compound over time. 5. Remember that breakthroughs often come after a long plateau. When you're in the midst of that plateau, it's easy to feel like you're not making progress. But if you maintain your efforts, you may find yourself on the cusp of a major breakthrough. The path to sustainable success. In conclusion, the path to significant achievement and personal growth is rarely a straight line. It's a journey filled with plateaus, valleys of disappointment, and sudden breakthroughs. By understanding the compounding nature of habits and the delayed nature of progress, we can approach our goals with greater patience, persistence, and wisdom. We can learn to trust in the process, to keep putting in the work even when we can't see immediate results, knowing that we're building potential for future breakthroughs. In doing so, we set ourselves up not just for short-term wins, but for long-term, sustainable success and fulfillment. The power of systems over goals. In the pursuit of personal growth and achievement, we often find ourselves fixated on grand goals and ambitious outcomes. We dream of transformative changes, losing significant weight, building a successful business, or mastering a new skill. While these aspirations can be inspiring, they may not be the most effective way to create lasting change in our lives. Instead, the key to sustainable progress lies in the power of systems and habits. The journey of personal development is akin to nurturing a garden. Each habit we cultivate is like a seed, beginning as a tiny, seemingly insignificant decision. But as we consistently water and tend to these seeds, they grow roots, sprout, and eventually blossom into sturdy plants that can withstand the tests of time and adversity. Similarly, our habits, when nurtured consistently, become the foundation of our character and the drivers of our success. The plateau of latent potential. This process of growth is not always visible or linear. Much like a gardener who patiently tends to their plot without seeing immediate results, we too must persist in our efforts even when progress seems slow or non-existent. This period of apparent stagnation is what we might call the plateau of latent potential, a phase where our consistent efforts are building up potential energy, even if we can't see the results yet. Breaking through this plateau requires a shift in our mindset and approach. Rather than focusing solely on end goals, we need to direct our attention to the systems and processes that lead to those results. Why systems outperform goals? This idea, popularized by figures like Scott Adams, creator of Dilbert, challenges conventional wisdom about goal setting and achievement. Consider a basketball coach aiming to win a championship. While the championship is the ultimate goal, obsessing over it during every practice and game would be counterproductive. Instead, the coach's focus should be on developing effective training routines, fostering team chemistry, and continuously improving strategies. By concentrating on these systemic elements, the team naturally moves closer to their championship aspirations. A systems-based approach offers several advantages over a purely goal-oriented mindset. 1. Goals alone don't determine success. Winners and losers often share the same goals. Every Olympic athlete dreams of gold. Every job candidate hopes to be hired. If goals alone determine success, everyone with the same objective would achieve it. Clearly, there's more to the equation. 2. Achieving a goal is often just a momentary change. Imagine tidying up a chronically messy room. The act of cleaning provides immediate satisfaction, but unless the underlying habits and systems change, the room will inevitably return to its cluttered state. 3. Goal-centric thinking restricts happiness. When we tie our contentment to specific outcomes, we create an either-or scenario where we're only allowed to be happy once we've reached our target. This not only postpones happiness, but also narrows our definition of success. Falling in love with the process. A systems-first mentality offers a more sustainable path to satisfaction. When we learn to love the process rather than fixating on the product, we open ourselves up to a continuous stream of fulfillment. Every day that we engage with our system, whether writing, exercising, or learning, becomes an opportunity for satisfaction, regardless of the immediate outcome. Furthermore, goal-oriented thinking can create a yo-yo effect in our efforts. Many people work intensely toward a goal, only to lose motivation once it's achieved. Runners train rigorously for a race, then stop exercising once they cross the finish line. This pattern of intense effort followed by inactivity is counterproductive to long-term progress. In contrast, a systems approach encourages consistent engagement and continuous improvement. It's not about winning a single game, but about playing the game indefinitely and getting better with each iteration. Building atomic habits. Implementing a systems-based approach requires a shift in how we think about change. Instead of setting ambitious goals and hoping for massive transformations, we need to focus on building robust systems of small, manageable habits. These atomic habits, as James Clear calls them, are the building blocks of significant change. The power of atomic habits lies in their compounding nature. Just as compound interest turns small financial investments into substantial wealth over time, consistently practiced small habits lead to remarkable personal growth. The key is to make these habits so small and manageable that they're almost impossible to skip. For instance, rather than setting a goal to get in shape, you might establish a system of exercising for just 5 minutes every day. This tiny commitment is easy to keep, and over time, it's likely to naturally expand as you build momentum. Flexibility and resilience. The beauty of a systems-based approach is its flexibility and resilience. Unlike rigid goals that can be derailed by unexpected circumstances, systems can adapt and evolve. If one small habit isn't working, you can adjust it without feeling like you've failed. Moreover, focusing on systems allows for a holistic approach to personal development. Instead of compartmentalizing different areas of your life, you can create interconnected systems that support overall growth. For example, a system of regular exercise might naturally lead to better eating habits, improved sleep, and increased productivity at work. The role of goals. Adopting a systems-first mentality doesn't mean completely abandoning goals. Goals can still serve as useful North Stars, providing direction and inspiration. The key is to not let goals overshadow the importance of the daily systems that lead to their achievement. In practice, This might look like setting a broad directional goal, e.g., improve physical fitness, and then focusing intently on creating and maintaining systems that support that direction, e.g., daily exercise, balanced meals, consistent sleep. The long-term mindset. Implementing a systems-based approach requires patience and persistence. It's easy to get discouraged when you don't see immediate results, but remember the principle of the plateau of latent potential. Your consistent efforts are building up, even if the effects aren't immediately visible. It's also crucial to regularly review and refine your systems. What works today might not be as effective tomorrow. Treat your systems as living entities that need regular care and adjustment. The ripple effect of systems. Another powerful aspect of systems thinking is its ability to compound across different areas of your life. As you build effective systems in one area, you'll likely find that the skills and mindset transfer to others. Furthermore, a systems approach helps mitigate the effects of willpower depletion. By establishing habits, you reduce the need for constant decision-making. Your positive behaviors become automatic, making it easier to stay on track even when you're tired or stressed. Final thoughts. In conclusion, while goals can provide direction and motivation, it's the systems and habits we establish that truly drive long-term success and fulfillment. By shifting our focus from lofty objectives to manageable, consistent actions, we set ourselves up for sustainable growth. As you embark on your journey of personal growth, ask yourself, are the systems I'm building aligned with the person I want to become? Am I focusing on consistent, manageable actions rather than waiting for motivation to strike? By nurturing a garden of positive habits and robust systems, you create an environment where success can naturally flourish. Life is less about the destinations we reach and more about the paths we walk. By focusing on systems, we ensure that every step of that journey is meaningful. Regardless of where it ultimately leads, start small, be consistent, trust the process, and watch as your atomic habits compound into remarkable transformations over time. The journey of personal transformation is often misunderstood. Many of us embark on this path with grand aspirations and lofty goals, yet find ourselves struggling to make lasting changes. We set ambitious targets like losing weight, quitting smoking, or starting a successful business. But despite our best intentions, we often fall short. The reason for this common struggle lies not in our lack of desire or effort, but in our fundamental approach to change itself. At the heart of this issue is a profound truth: the power of habits. Habits are the invisible architecture of our daily lives, shaping our actions, decisions, and ultimately our destinies. They are like the atoms of our existence, small, often unnoticed, yet incredibly potent when compounded over time. Just as atoms build molecules and molecules form matter, our habits accumulate to create the substance of our lives. The concept of atomic habits encapsulates this idea perfectly. An atomic habit is not just any small routine. It's a fundamental unit of behavior that, when consistently applied, can lead to remarkable results. These habits are both minuscule and mighty, easy to implement yet capable of generating tremendous power over time. To truly grasp the transformative potential of habits, we must first understand the layers of behavior change. Imagine peeling an onion. Each layer represents a different level at which change can occur. The outermost layer is about changing outcomes. This is where most people focus their efforts, setting goals like lose 20 pounds or make $1 million. The middle layer involves changing processes, the systems and routines we use to achieve our goals. But the innermost, most crucial layer is about changing our identity, our beliefs, self-image, and fundamental view of who we are. Many of us make the mistake of focusing solely on the outer layers, outcomes and processes, without addressing the core. We set outcome-based goals and try to change our habits without altering our underlying beliefs. This approach often leads to temporary changes at best, and frustration and failure at worst. Consider two individuals trying to quit smoking. One says, "I'm trying to quit," while the other states, "I'm not a smoker." The difference may seem subtle, but it's profound. The first person still identifies as a smoker attempting change, while the second has already shifted their identity. This identity shift is the key to lasting transformation. The power of identity-based habits lies in their alignment with our deepest beliefs about ourselves. When we change our identity, our behaviors naturally follow suit. If you see yourself as an athlete, you're more likely to maintain a consistent exercise routine. If you identify as a writer, sitting down to write each day becomes an expression of who you are, not just something you do. This principle extends beyond individual habits to broader systems of behavior. In societies, organizations, and individuals alike, there's always an underlying set of beliefs shaping the visible actions. A democracy operates on fundamentally different beliefs than a dictatorship, and these beliefs determine what behaviors are possible or impossible within each system. The challenge, then, is to align our desired behaviors with our identity. This is why many attempts at change fail. We try to adopt new habits that are incongruent with our self-image. If you see yourself as someone who prioritizes comfort over growth, it will be an uphill battle to consistently push yourself in the gym or tackle challenging projects at work. The story of Brian Clark, an entrepreneur who struggled with nail biting, illustrates this principle. Clark managed to stop biting his nails through sheer willpower, but the real transformation came when he changed how he saw himself. Instead of just trying to stop a bad habit, he began to see himself as someone who cared about his appearance and health. This shift in identity made the new behavior, not biting his nails, feel natural and sustainable. This approach to change, focusing on identity rather than outcomes, has profound implications for how we pursue personal growth. Instead of asking, "What do I want to achieve?" we should be asking, "Who do I want to become?" This subtle shift can make all the difference in creating lasting change. For instance, rather than setting a goal to lose weight, one might focus on becoming a person who prioritizes health and fitness. This identity-based approach naturally leads to behaviors that support weight loss, but it goes beyond that. It creates a sustainable lifestyle change that persists even after the initial weight loss goal is achieved. The power of this approach lies in its ability to create a positive feedback loop. As we act in alignment with our new identity, we reinforce that identity, which in turn makes it easier to maintain the new behaviors over time. What started as a conscious effort becomes an automatic expression of who we are. However, changing our identity is not an overnight process. It requires consistent, small actions that gradually reshape our self-image. This is where the concept of atomic habits becomes crucial. By focusing on tiny, manageable changes that align with our desired identity, we can slowly but surely transform ourselves. For example, if you want to become a writer, start by writing just 50 words a day. This atomic habit is small enough to be achievable even on your busiest days, but consistent enough to begin reshaping your identity. Over time, you'll naturally find yourself writing more, not because you're forcing yourself to meet a word count goal, but because writing has become an integral part of who you are. This approach also helps in breaking bad habits. Instead of trying to quit a negative behavior through willpower alone, focus on cultivating an identity that's incompatible with that behavior. If you want to stop procrastinating, start seeing yourself as someone who takes immediate action. Small, consistent steps in this direction will gradually shift your self-image, making procrastination feel increasingly at odds with who you are. It's important to note that this process of identity change is not about denying your current reality or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about consciously choosing and nurturing the aspects of yourself that you want to grow. We all have multiple facets to our identity, and by deliberately focusing on and developing certain traits, we can shape our overall self-image in positive ways. The beauty of this approach is its flexibility and resilience. Unlike rigid, outcome-based goals that can be derailed by setbacks, identity-based habits are more adaptable. If you see yourself as a healthy person, a single unhealthy meal doesn't negate that identity. Instead, it becomes an outlier, prompting you to return to behaviors that align with your self-image. Moreover, focusing on identity change can lead to more holistic personal growth. When you change how you see yourself in one area, it often has positive ripple effects in other areas of your life. For instance, developing the identity of a disciplined person in your fitness routine might naturally extend to increased discipline in your work or personal relationships. However, it's crucial to approach this process with patience and self-compassion. Changing deeply ingrained beliefs and habits takes time. There will be setbacks and moments of doubt. The key is to view these not as failures, but as part of the learning process, opportunities to reinforce your commitment to your new identity. It's also worth noting that while we focus on personal identity, our habits and beliefs are often influenced by our environment and social circles. Surrounding yourself with people who embody the traits you aspire to can significantly aid in your transformation. If you want to become more entrepreneurial, spending time with entrepreneurs can help shift your self-perception and reinforce behaviors aligned with that identity. As you embark on this journey of identity-based habit change, remember that the goal is not perfection, but progress. Each small action that aligns with your desired identity is a step in the right direction. Over time, these atomic habits compound, leading to significant personal transformation. In conclusion, the path to lasting change lies not in setting ambitious goals or relying on sheer willpower, but in reshaping our fundamental identity. By focusing on who we want to become rather than just what we want to achieve, we set the stage for sustainable, meaningful change. Through the power of atomic habits, small, consistent actions aligned with our desired identity, we can gradually transform ourselves. This approach requires patience, self-reflection, and a willingness to challenge our existing beliefs about ourselves. But the rewards are immense. Not only do we achieve our desired outcomes, but we do so in a way that feels natural and sustainable. We don't just change what we do, we change who we are. As you reflect on your own goals and aspirations, consider shifting your focus from outcomes to identity. Ask yourself not just what you want to achieve, but who you need to become to achieve it. Then, identify the small atomic habits that will help you embody that identity. Remember, every great achievement, every personal transformation, begins with a single small step. Your atomic habits are the building blocks of your future self. Choose them wisely, implement them consistently, and watch as they compound into remarkable results. To quit smoking through willpower alone, one might focus on developing the identity of a health-conscious person who values clean air and physical well-being. It is important to note that this process of identity change through habit formation is not always linear or easy. There will be setbacks and moments of doubt. The key is to view these not as failures but as part of the learning process, opportunities to reinforce our commitment to our new identity. Each time we choose to act in alignment with our desired identity, even after a setback, we strengthen our new self-image. As we embark on this journey of identity-based habit change, it is helpful to regularly reflect on our progress and adjust our approach as needed. This might involve journaling about our experiences, seeking feedback from trusted friends or mentors, or periodically reassessing our goals and the habits we're cultivating to support them. It's also worth considering how this approach to personal change can impact broader social change. As individuals reshape their identities and behaviors, they can influence their immediate social circles and, by extension, larger communities. This ripple effect of personal transformation can contribute to more significant societal shifts over time. In conclusion, the path to lasting personal change lies not in setting ambitious goals or relying on fleeting motivation, but in reshaping our fundamental identity through consistent, identity-aligned habits. By focusing on who we want to become rather than just what we want to achieve, we set the stage for sustainable, meaningful transformation. This approach requires patience, self-reflection, and a willingness to challenge our existing beliefs about ourselves. But the rewards are immense. Not only do we achieve our desired outcomes, but we do so in a way that feels natural and sustainable. We don't just change what we do, we change who we are. As you reflect on your own goals and aspirations, consider shifting your focus from outcomes to identity. Ask yourself not just what you want to achieve, but who you need to become to achieve it. Then identify the small, consistent habits that will help you embody that identity. Remember, every great achievement, every personal transformation, begins with a single small step. Your habits are the building blocks of your future self. Choose them wisely, implement them consistently, and watch as they compound into remarkable results, shaping not just your actions but your very identity. The journey of personal growth and habit formation is a fascinating exploration of human behavior and psychology. At its core, this journey begins with a crucial first step: awareness. We often go through life on autopilot, our actions guided by deeply ingrained habits that operate below the level of conscious thought. However, to truly transform our lives and build positive habits, we must first shine a light on these automatic behaviors. One powerful technique for increasing awareness is the simple act of verbalizing our actions and intentions. There is a profound difference between thinking about doing something and actually saying it out loud. When we vocalize our habits or plans, we engage more of our senses and create a stronger mental imprint. This verbalization can take many forms, from simply stating a task we need to complete to acknowledging a habit we want to change. For instance, imagine you're trying to break the habit of mindlessly scrolling through social media before bed. Instead of silently recognizing this behavior, try saying out loud, "I'm about to waste time on my phone instead of getting restful sleep." This verbal acknowledgement makes the consequences of the action more tangible and real. It's harder to ignore the implications when they are hanging in the air, spoken in your own voice. This principle extends beyond breaking bad habits. It is equally effective for reinforcing positive behaviors or simply remembering important tasks. If you have a busy day ahead, try verbalizing your to-do list in the morning. Today, I need to finish the report by noon, call the client at 2 p.m., and pick up groceries on the way home. By saying these tasks aloud, you are more likely to remember them and feel a stronger sense of commitment to completing them.